with this Postman tool, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to do GET requests. I'll be using this website, recrest.in, and it has, like, usually when you do API testing or you're testing your APIs with other developers, you could use other tools like Swagger Dashboard, or in other words, some sort of dashboard that hosts like all the API requests that you can test or try and see if you get the correct response. In this instance, I'm going to go over a GET request and do some over basics about Postman itself. So, for example, if you want to test like how you want to list users, and you can see right here that if you use this certain API call using the host name, which is going to be this recrest.in, and if you use it with this sort of appending this sort of part into the GET request, you're going to get a 200 response, which means it's a successful retrieval of data. And you'll get this data once you use it on Postman. So let me just show you how I would do this. All right, so I open Postman. I could go over in a separate video on how to set it up, but just for the sake of time, I'm going to go right ahead and get to it. Now, some quick overview. Now, this is a workspace that you can work on yourself personally, or you can work with a team. You can name your workspace whatever you'd like. You can create a new one right here. And let's just start creating a collection. So this collection is going to be a collection of whatever requests you'd like to work. This could help you organize your workspace. Whatever requests that you work with, and organize like, okay, these requests for a certain website or not. In this case, it's going to be for the recrest. I'll call it the test here, API test right here. And you can put your description like, okay, this is for API testing demo. All right, a quick description of what I'll be doing. And over here, you can see the collection is already created. And here we could start creating. It at a request to test with. I can give it a certain name. Maybe here, let's see if I can pull it up quickly for a second. We'll just say list users. We'll just copy the name. Just try to keep it consistent. That's good practice. List users, lists the users. Okay, and we'll save to recrest.net. All right, so what would we like to do here? We want to put the host name. And one thing about GET requests is that there's usually a key and value that is appended to the URL. GET requests are good for getting data, but if you want to use sensitive data, you definitely don't want to use a GET request because this will show up in the GET request. This will show up in the URL, and you don't want that one to be saved in your history and all that stuff. So here, I'm going to do this extension right here. Let's see if I could at least copy this one. All right, I can't copy the whole thing, but that's fine. And let's see how to delete this. Here it has to be divided by these backslashes. Page equals 2. That means usually when you get data, there could be different amount of pages of users. I don't want to get the second pagination of all those users. So when I click send, you can see that the data will be transported in this response body right here. And in this response body, it could be in different formats. This one, in this case, would be in JSON, and it gives certain information like the page, which is what I'm searching for, page equals 2. It could give information like number of total pages. It depends on how the developers created the API. Now, you can see here that when you add this certain information, like part of the parameters in your GET request, you could add a key, which is like what sort of category of data that you would like. In this case, it's a page, and what a specific value I'd like in that category is the second page, which is denoted by 2. And as I mentioned before, this is not good for sensitive data because, as you can see, if you go to history, you can see that it shows my previous history of what GET requests call that I sent. In post requests, you don't usually see it in history, which is probably much more safer to use. So note that yourself. The difference between GET and post. GET requests, you could see the information you send through the GET request. Sometimes once you send a GET request, even more information will be added into the GET request. And if it's sensitive, that's a big no-no. All right, guys, that's a good example. I'm probably going to do a second tutorial on doing more examples with GET requests. Yeah, feel free to, if you have any questions, please comment below, and I'll see if I could teach it much more clearly. Have a good day.